Hello everyone. My name is Victor, and I make games about weird people and weird situations. Hello. You know, today is a very important day. May 5th, which is, the day I'm releasing this on, is the 1-year anniversary of when I graduated from college. May 5th, 2023. And today is May 5th, 2024. So it's been a year, right? It symbolizes more than just the day that I graduated from college, It's also the day that I moved back to my hometown. And the day that I last saw all, not most, not some, but all of my friends from college. So it's been a year since all of that happened. And especially for the sake of this video, there's one very important thing that has not happened in the last year. And that's that despite, keeping up with applying and keeping up with looking and researching and improving myself and improving my skills and my portfolio and my resume, it has been a year post-grad, and I have never been even interviewed for a job in my field once. And honestly, the crazy part is that it hasn't even been just a year of applying, because I've been applying to jobs since September of 2022, actually. September of 2022 is when I started applying for jobs, and I was still in school when I was a senior. So actually, it's been almost 2 years that I've been applying for jobs and have never been interviewed. And I guess you can say it's been sort of a wake-up call. Now, for full transparency, I got a degree in game design, which means I have been trying to get a job in the games industry, most specifically as an artist. And if you have at all been paying attention to the games industry over the last 2 years, you're probably well aware of the fact that it has not been very good. There have been incredibly high numbers of layoffs. There have been all sorts of things coming out about crunch and allegations of unsafe workplaces. And if you've been looking for jobs in the last 2 years especially, you've probably seen that listings have become more and more ridiculous, with low wages, very low benefits, and absolutely incredible demands, even for entry-level positions. The stereotypical, entry-level position, but you need to have 3 to 5 years of experience kind of jobs. Or, we're going to pay you $50,000 a year, but we're going to expect you to do 3 people's worth of work. And although I haven't been completely consistent with applying, like I'm not doing a flat 30 applications a month or a flat 60 applications a month or even a flat 10 applications per month. It goes up and it goes down as my motivation fluctuates. It's safe to say that no matter what I've tried, I have not been able to find work. And it's got me thinking. Because if you would have asked me when I was a freshman or a sophomore in college, what do you want to do when you graduate? I would have said, well, I really want to make games independently. I've always been really into indie dev, and that's what I want to do. I want to make games and make enough money off of it to be comfortable and live comfortably on my own and not have to rely on some big company in order to survive. But I know that that's not, the most smart decision. I know that's not the safest decision, so I want to get a job at a games company and work, and live comfortably. I don't really care what I'm doing as long as I'm doing enough. I really don't want to be a manager or a lead or somebody who has a lot of control over other people. I don't like having control over other people. I just want to work my little job and make my money and live comfortably so that I can make my games on the side. That's what I would have said, right, when I was a freshman or a sophomore. And then I learned about non-comp clauses. And if you're unfamiliar, a non-comp or a non-competition clause is basically a statement in a contract, right, the kind that you sign when you start working, that says, while you're working with us, you cannot work on any other project. Now, company to company, these vary. Sometimes they're like, oh, you can still do little things, you can make little games, as long as you're not getting paid for them, that's completely fine. Sometimes it's just, oh, you can't work for another company, like another AAA company while you work with us. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you can make games on the side and you can even make money off of them, but you have to get it approved with us first before you can start working on it. And some of them are just flat out, you cannot do anything while you're working with us. You cannot work for any other team, for any other project, for any other reason. And that scared me a little because I know that especially as an entry-level employee, I wouldn't have the most leverage when it comes to arguing for things like that, If I didn't want to work with them because of their non-competition clause, they would just find somebody else, right? Dime a dozen entry-level people are, right? So I knew that there was a chance that if I had gotten a job with a AAA company, I wouldn't have been able to do what I wanted to do. But you know what? I'm in so much debt, maybe that would be fine. Just to buckle down for 2 or 3 years at a company and make enough money to pay off some of my debt or a good amount of my debt. And then from there, I can start, someday arguing for my own creative freedom while working for a job. And then the industry started to buckle. And we started seeing mass layoffs and crazy amounts of people getting fired and let go from their jobs, and all the stories coming out about how toxic the industry was. And to be fair, these things had been happening for long before I was in college. But that was when I started to see these things happening. And I had heard from all my friends of all the crazy interview stories of oh yeah, I went through 4 rounds and then they told me that the position had been closed, that they didn't need it anymore because nobody had been hired, they were just downsizing. Or yeah, I had applied and they had interviewed me and then they ghosted me. And even in my own applications, I had seen that, where I was applying to jobs and slowly over the course at least of the last year, I was seeing less and less rejections and more just applications that got sent to nowhere land and just nobody ever responded to them. The last thing I had ever heard was that automatic email that they send out to every person that applies saying, we received your email, or we received your application, we're very happy to look it over, we'll let you know if you're a fit. And then they never let you know. They just don't tell you anything and hope that you get the point. And I try not to let it discourage me, but after a while, I started to realize some things. I started to think, is it really worth it? Because at the end of the day, or I guess at the beginning of the day, all I wanted was some industry job so that I could make enough money to live comfortably so that I could do what I want to do on my own. But now you're telling me that, okay, if I get an industry job, I might not even be able to do what I want to do. If I get an industry job, if after what will it take, 3 years? 4 years of applying to jobs in order for me to land something? Because it's a numbers game and there's so many secrets and everybody is telling you different things. Everybody's saying, oh, you need to make sure that your resume is ATS compliant. Oh, you need to make sure it has this in it. Oh, but you can't have that. Oh, but this person says it should have that. And it's like, at what point, all of this just to get my little dinky little job so that I can make my games on the side. And then I started thinking even more. You know what? I'm going to get a little comfortable first. I started thinking about all the things that I had told myself when I was a freshman. All the times I had told myself, oh, you can't go indie because it's not very safe, There's no job security when you're an indie developer or when you're working as a freelancer. At any moment you could just stop making money. People could just turn on you and you could stop making money. Or, there's no benefits to working indie. You're self-employed, so you don't get health insurance through your employer. Or it takes so much time to get started and to buy all the supplies and to get invested in this and to make sure that you're doing it right. You have to be everybody. You have to be the marketing person, and you have to be the advertiser, and you have to be the actual person making it, and logistics and shipping, and there's so much you have to do just to get started. And now I'm realizing, a lot of the things that I said and a lot of the things that I heard about being a freelancer and about being independently working and self-employed, a lot of those things that are apparently so bad about being self-employed are just true of the industry now. How it can take months to find work. How it doesn't pay well. You don't make a lot of money off of it. You need so many requirements, and yet you get nothing in return, You have to do 3 or 4 or 5 people's worth of work because that's what the company's asking you to do. And if I'm getting an industry job just to make enough money to do my little indie thing, well, why not just cut out the middleman? Why not just, I don't know, ditch the company, ditch the AAA, ditch the industry, and say, I want to do what I want to do. And seeing the state of, the world right now, seeing the state of, the climate right now, I can't exactly say that I'm super invested in a future in general. Yeah, if I got a job with the industry, it would be safer. Again, if I could get a job with the industry, it would be safer. And, it's, retirement plans and stuff, but am I really going to be happy in 20 years knowing that I wasn't able to make my little projects on the side and all that? And so, yeah, that's what this is. That's what today's video vlog is. That's what the start of all this is I'm kind of fed up with how much the games industry sucks and all kinds of other industries, all sorts of creative industries, and the economic climate right now in the States. I'm very unhappy with all of it. And so I have formally decided to, at least for now, cut out the middleman and just give it a go. Try to go indie. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if it works, because I've heard, from other people who blog on the internet, who vlog here on YouTube, that YouTube is probably the best way to get started. And I've heard that from all kinds of people, especially in the modern state of social media and how bad things are right now on things like Instagram and Twitter and TikTok potentially being banned. It's YouTube is probably my safest bet. But I'm not just going to be a YouTuber, There's other stuff that I have planned, other things that I do, and other things that I've actually already done that I'll talk about more at the end. But yeah, I just want to kick this off by saying, this is what this is. This is me. I am here. This is now. And thank you for joining me on this journey. Hopefully this will be very fun for all of us.
If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for sticking with me through all my complaining. I'm usually not this tired, but I've been really beaten down lately just thinking about how long it's been since I graduated. I live with my dad and his girlfriend right now, which isn't the best, but it's also not the worst. I don't have to pay rent, which is nice, because I'm in a lot of debt from school. Like, a lot of debt. But we live in a really small town with not a lot of opportunity or things to do. We do have 4 cats though, and I love them. And if you're interested in any of my games or art, I'll have all my profiles linked down below. And my next video is going to be a lot more peppy and fun, I promise. I'll see you then.